Welcome. Today, we're going to zoom in on just one simple four-letter word, base. Now, it might look pretty ordinary, but trust me, this single word is one of the most flexible and powerful words in the entire English language. So, why base? Well, it's not just a random choice. This word is officially on something called the Basic English 850 list. That means it's considered one of the absolute most essential words you need to communicate effectively in English. It's a real cornerstone. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why it's a basic English cornerstone. Then we'll break down how it works as a noun, a verb, and even an adjective. And finally, we'll wrap it all up. Sound good? Okay, let's dig into that first point. What does it really mean to be on the Basic English 850 list? It's way more than just a cool piece of trivia. It's basically a map for learners, pointing out the words that give you the most bang for your buck. Think of this list as a kind of streamlined toolkit for speaking English. The whole idea is that with just these 850 words, you can get almost any idea across. That's why really, truly understanding a word like base is such a huge step toward fluency. All right, let's start building our knowledge, from the ground up. We'll kick things off with its most common form, base, as a noun. This is where the most physical, easy-to-picture meanings come from. At its heart, the definition is pretty simple. Just picture the base of a lamp or the base of a big statue. It's the bottom part, right? The foundation that holds the whole thing up. But oh, it doesn't stop there. As a noun, base has four totally distinct meanings we're going to look at. The bottom part, the main part, a military headquarters, and, believe it or not, a type of chemical. Let's get into it. So moving from the physical to the more conceptual, base can also mean the main ingredient or the core idea of something. Like the base of a soup is probably broth, right? Or you might hear that a story has a base in reality. It's the central thing everything else is built on. Now, this is a meaning you're probably super familiar with. An Air Force base, an Army base, it's a center of operations, a headquarters. See how that idea of a foundation or a central point applies to places, not just objects? And now for a quick trip to science class. In chemistry, a base is literally the opposite of an acid. If you remember pH scales, acids are below 7, and bases, also called alkalines, are above 7. It's a totally fundamental concept in chemistry. Here's a perfect real-world example to lock that in. Ammonia, the stuff in some cleaning products, that's a weak base. It's a great little sentence to remember if you want to keep that scientific meaning straight. Okay, so we've got a good handle on what a base is. Now let's talk about what a base does. It's time to shift gears and look at its role as a verb, putting the word into action. The verb to base carries that exact same idea of a foundation. When you base something, you're giving it a foundation, whether it's physically setting up shop in a location or conceptually grounding it in an idea. This is probably the number one way you're going to hear this used. The movie is based on the book. It just means the book is the source material, it's the foundation for the movie's entire story. You'll also hear it used for location, like a company being based in a city. And this is a big one, it's used for arguments. You don't just have a random opinion, you base your conclusion on the data. Words like create, build, construct, they all get at that same core idea. So, we've done the noun and the verb, and they're all pretty logically connected. But get ready for a twist. As an adjective, base means something completely different and, frankly, a whole lot darker. Yep, you read that right. As an adjective, base means immoral, cowardly, without any principles. It's a pretty strong word to condemn someone's behavior. Think of the phrase base instincts. It refers to our lowest, most primitive desires. It's almost like a dark twist on the physical meaning, the lowest part of human nature. And just like other adjectives, it can show degrees of badness. An action can be base, but another might be even baser. And the absolute worst, most horrible behavior imaginable, well, that would be the basest. Okay, let's take a step back and put all these pieces of the puzzle together. It's pretty amazing how this one little word can describe a physical foundation, an action of creating something, and a moral judgment. And this really shows you how versatile it is. As you can see, the noun form is the heavyweight champ with those 4 different meanings we talked about, but the verb and adjective forms add so much depth. It really is a Swiss Army knife of a word. And hey, before we wrap up, don't forget these related words. Basic means fundamental. Basically is what you say when you're summarizing, and if a rumor is baseless, it has no foundation in fact. They all spring from that same core idea. So as you can see, base is so much more than just the bottom of something. It's a word about our origins, our headquarters, science, and even our morality. Which kind of leaves us with one question. Now that you've got this solid foundation, how are you going to build on this base? Thanks for going me.